What is happening, my Disney addicts? Welcome back to another episode of My Disney Addiction. We got a lot of good stuff talking that we're going to talk about today. But first, just want to let you guys know that I am, of course, your Disney detective, Greg.
Number one host that is a ghost.
Chris. His name is Chris, everyone.
I'm not frozen. I'm just sitting there. What's up?
I am your unofficial Disney planner, Sam.
And
Boom. All right. The group is back together. We have assembled. And today, we talked about this one idea where I think all of us have had some thoughts over the years on what kind of rides Disney should make and put in their parks. So we have a couple of some of our top picks that we would love to share with you guys in regards to rides that, you know, we would love to see Disney put into their parks from their movies, from their TV shows. This can be from their original intellectual property or from some of their acquired properties like Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, things like that. So I think today's going to be a really, really fun time. And of course, we want to hear from you because I know that you guys have some ideas as well to share.
yeah, so that's what's up. I'm wearing my number one dad Disney t-shirt. This is the first ever Father's Day gift I got from my wife. Super cool. Means a lot to me. Sam, what are you sporting?
I've got the Millennium Falcon in honor of May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Return of the 5th.
And also with you.
Too.
I plead the 6th.
And then
wait, is it Return of the 5th or Revenge of the 5th? And then Return of this, or...
No, Revenge of the 6th. No, 5th. Return of the 6th.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and Greg, what do you got?
Sorry.
Yes, of course, our logo, My Disney Addiction. The shirt was made by the wonderfully talented Sam herself. There you go. Thank you so much. One of my favorite shirts to wear. Very comfortable, and I mean, who doesn't love this classic logo on a nice black sleek shirt?
So guys, we are going to be talking, like Greg said, about the movies that we want to see become rides or have a ride, representation of a ride. Now, we are going to put limitations on this discussion. We want you guys to play along, think about it. Everybody, like Greg said, has probably thought about it at some point, but we will not be doing rides that are in other parks that we do not have at, Florida or California. We will not be doing rides that have been a ride and no longer are. Rest in peace, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So, and we cannot we cannot talk about going back to certain rides. So the original Figment ride is better than the new one. So there's no point in talking about the old one. We're talking purely movies that do not have any sort of representation as a ride / attraction in the parks. Specifically, we're thinking more towards rides. But sometimes things can be labeled as attraction when it's a ride or a ride when it's not really a ride, whatever. Why don't we go ahead and we'll let Samantha go first. They say ladies first.
Thanks. You're finally being a gentleman. Yay.
Well, that's because, I don't know, weakness.
This podcast has turned you into a better person. I'm rubbing off.
No, I believe in equality, so I should go first. I'm kidding. Go
All
ahead.
right, well,
already
my
given
first
Sam
idea
the
for a
go-ahead.
ride. My first idea for a ride is based off of the movie Wreck-It Ralph. I
Which
think
one?
it'd be super fun to go into that car scene, like the car race scene, and race against the other players in Sugar Rush because, one, I love candy. So who doesn't want to ride full of candy?
There you go.
But I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I was thinking, originally took my idea from like how they have the Cars ride over in Disney's California Adventure. But like instead of having it themed towards cars, theme it towards Wreck-It Ralph.
So let me ask this question. Is the ride going to be like an actual car that you get to control?
I don't think so. Just because you kind of have to have that control. So I would think it would almost have to be kind of like a trackless ride system.
Okay.
So like you don't quite know what's going to happen, but like you still, because I mean, I don't really know how you would do it where like you could control your own, because then it would just turn into bumper cars.
Okay. So what about,
Would, yeah.
so do you, okay, so here's another question. So with the ride system, what would the style be? Would it be just like kind of dark ride animatronics, or would it be very much kind of like Test Track where it's just standalone things that you're driving through, or could it be something akin to like that mixed with a little bit of like 3D animation going around? Like how would you?
I personally don't like 3D. I don't care for the glasses. I don't care for the effects. I think they're kind of cheesy. I mean, I do love cheesy. I love Muppet Vision 3D, but
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
but I would keep it just plain and simple. If you want to do some projection mapping, like that's fine. And then like kind of have it like so it goes in and out of show buildings to kind of take you through the different scenes. And then it'd be really cool if you almost implement like that really like where you race around like from Test Track, where you go like you hit that 60 miles an hour, that's your little adrenaline, get you going, and but still keep it classic and like kind of incorporate everything into one.
So I'm gonna have tons of questions for everybody on every single ride. So
Like the solid.
would you have kind of like Test Track does, where part of the queue is building your candy car?
That would be a lot of fun. Have that like a mini game where like you have to like make your own, like blow up the thing. Even though you can't do that, never mind. You cannot blow up like your tires or bake your car. You can't really do that.
Right.
But like kind of have like that mini game where you can like play and like, or I don't know. Like you'd have to tap on it, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
Because that's
that'd
the
be
thing,
fun.
right? Because part of the fun, I would feel, if you don't have the queue, you don't. That's my child crying, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know. So, she's 3, doesn't like being awake right now, but doesn't want to go to bed. So that's what 3-year-olds do. That's okay. So one of the things, 4 months. Yep. One of the things that it's kind of like you gotta have the queue, because I look at it and it's like I get to think of candy and what parts of candy or what candy do I want to be my car. Like,
Okay.
do I want Reese's Cups to be real?
So I know that Disney is going towards the virtual ride lines. And so what if like, because they have the Disney Parks Play app, so what if they had a game in the app that you can play to build your car?
See, I think that would be fun. So kind of like how Star
Yeah.
Wars, Rise of the
Rise of
Resistance,
Resistance.
kind of like so what I would like is kind of like Rise of the Resistance, where when you first get in, you check into your time, and then you got like, you have to be back between 2 and 3 o'clock, or 2 and 4. Well, then that gives you the rest of the day. So take that idea of like, you've got a booked time. Part of the thing when you go into that game's app is you now, throughout the day, you can create different cars and figure out, oh, maybe I do this. So it allows you to go in and out of trying different things. Not that you get to test the car, but you only get to have like one car with every check-in that you do. But it's like, oh, I wanted, Skittles on the side, but now I want to get rid of it. And so it's like you have all day to kind of think of what your car is going to look like before you
Or what if you had different games you can play like throughout to kind of customize your car a little more?
What do you mean?
Like have a different game you can play that unlocks like a certain thing. But then like
Oh.
I would kind of be upset though if my time came and I wasn't able to do everything I wanted
And you
to
weren't
do.
ready,
So,
to build your dream car, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even at the end, like, of Test Track, where you get to go and you get to actually race some cars around like that 3D track. Maybe then, since your idea for the actual ride is it being fully autonomous on its own, then at the end, maybe you could then take your creation and then you could sort of download it into a little bit of a racing course where you can then drive it after the ride.
maybe.
Super cool idea. I really like this.
I like it.
The problem I see with this is I don't think this would happen because it'd be very hard to do, because it would be pretty popular. And the other thing would be that it would have to be an extra pay cost to this. You got the app, you check in, you create whatever kind of candy car you have. You go to the racetrack, you race like the module because you can't really, create that physical car. You have the stats, who won, whatever. But what if you go to after the ride, they have a whole room full of computers. You can take your phone, upload a number to the computer, and it gets a 3D printout of your car that you created.
Whoa.
That would be really cool, but kind of impossible. So.
It's not impossible because it would take the image and then figure out the specs from the image, and
But
then
that would
just
be
create.
so long to do. But I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it would
you
be
could like custom order and like send it back to your house.
send it back to your house, or it's one of those things where it's like this is going because you're in an order. Well, I guess it would have to be that. Like they would have to send it back to your house, and it would be like, well, you're gonna pay $100 for this plastic car.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it would be like something cool where it's like,
Well, what if they had something like Legos where you could like build it yourself, like after the ride? Have a bunch of different pieces and you can like build your own car.
Oh, yeah.
so
Because
I
I'm
think that would
reminded
work.
of like at the zoo where you can, pay to get those molds of whichever animal you want. It's sort of like getting a mold of your car, or like you said, you get to create your own with these pieces that are sort of a part of the ride in the outro.
Well, because at that point you would still have to do the send it home, because then they would have to send an order to the Lego company. They would have to arrange the individual pieces that would best
No. I'm talking about like how you can kind of like build your own droid and stuff like that, where you
Yeah,
just
like
have
in
like a
real
bunch
time,
of
you
different
have it.
pieces that you can
Right.
put together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking of something that would be very much like you spent all day creating your car, and we're going to give you a replica of the car that you made. That was my idea of it.
Okay. No, I think this is a really good idea. I really do like it. And before we move on, Sam, where would you think that ride would fit best? Like which park? Either in Walt Disney World or Disneyland.
Or any park.
Yeah.
I've never been to Disneyland, so I don't know.
Tiny.
Okay.
Very tiny.
Fit there.
All right.
You'd almost kind of have to put it in the Magic Kingdom because it's not
I would think
Pixar, so it'd have to be in the Magic Kingdom somewhere.
See, interesting. I would disagree. You know where I would put it? I would actually not put it in a park.
Where would you
I
put
would
it?
actually. Here's what I would
In
do.
a water park?
If I was Disney,
Ooh, that'd be fun. What if you
What?
did do a water slide?
Oh my God.
A water
look at this.
coaster.
We just blew this wide open.
You
So many
did.
possibilities.
So explain to me how food coloring candy, chocolate, caramel, nuts do in water. How does that work?
Well, you're not gonna actually put the
I
candy
know that's the
in
point. It makes no
water.
sense.
And it's
No,
the
not
real
water.
deal.
Okay, listen. You create the
Chris,
Disney.
Chris, do you realize that the candy, even in this version, the car is not candy?
And it's not
Gonna be
edible.
like plastic.
Okay, just be quiet. Listen. So, just hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
Here's what we do. By we, because now we run Disney. Because we. Here's what we do if we run Disney. We take the concept of the ride, the app, whatever. It's gonna be tough. You build it actually
We'll make it happen.
at Disney Springs, and then you also have a huge candy shop in want to say downtown Disney.
It will
But at
forever be
Disney Candy
downtown
Co.
Disney.
Yeah, at Disney Springs, downtown Disney, because then that would allow, because like there's a bunch of stores down there, so create a gigantic candy store with a bunch of Mickey candy, Disney candy. You can work with a bunch of other like Hershey's and all the other places, and then you have the ride there. So you have an actual ride at Disney Springs that's very fun. It doesn't fit into, because it was Pixar, so it's kind of somewhere neutral. But that's just one more thing to do. That's shopping and a fun experience while you're at Disney Springs.
Okay, so what if we took, because I'm backtracking, what if we took that Lego idea where you can build your car out of Legos and we made it like actual candy and you can eat it?
Like I like that. It's sort of like building a gingerbread house, but a car.
Yes,
It would kill over the holidays. It'd be great.
it would.
Yeah, I just see
I like
kids. I see a bunch of dumb kids saving that, putting it up on their wall in their room, and then one day they just get the munchies really bad, and then they start eating it. It's like, dude, that's been sitting there for like 5 years. Not eat that.
It's like,
Okay,
I
that
don't
may be
care.
true.
I'm hungry.
So
That actually reminds me. This is like 2 or 3 years ago when we were making gingerbread houses for Christmas. I did not want to make another gingerbread house because that's generic. It's cookie cutter, no pun intended. So I decided to just, from my mind, try to create a gingerbread X-wing.
That's awesome.
Right.
worked?
And yeah, and it actually worked very well. And it's currently in my parents' china cabinet. It's still up there. The wings are still on. Everything. I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to you guys, and also post it on our social media. But that was one of my favorites. It was super hard because, of course, I didn't have any schematics to go off of. I was like, oh, does this look good? Like, how is this going to work with all the frosting glue? Ended up doing pretty well.
I like your use of the word
That's so cool.
schematics.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I get really intense about my gingerbread creation
So
here.
I think we have really had fun with that one. We definitely have to move on because we haven't even touched a whole host that needs to be touched
Right.
on. All right. So why don't we do this? Because we've all had a few. To narrow this down, because we don't have 5 hours to go through all this. Greg, pick your top one, and then we'll kind of move down from there. Instead of our least to our favorite, we'd have to go to our favorite to whatever else we can get to.
Okay, well, see, I don't want to overlap on you, Chris. So why don't you go first?
No.
and then
I asked
will
you
go.
first. I asked you
Darn
first.
Okay. So this one I've been thinking about for a while now because
I bet I know what it is.
I am flabbergasted why Disney has not done this yet. So to sort of nip it in the bud, I think it would fit best in Epcot World Showcase,
I know what it is.
and they should create a different country, like maybe Peru, or maybe they put it into maybe Mexico, that area.
No, I was off.
But it should be an Emperor's New Groove ride where you ride with Kronk and Yzma as they go down to their secret lair after Kronk pulls the trigger.
Why
It'll be
would
a
that?
dark ride?
Okay, I like the idea. Here's my question: would that be a good ride for Epcot, or would that be a better kind of like slide potential, like tube ride at one of the water parks?
You know, now that you mentioned it, I think it would be a phenomenal water ride, like a
Because I think a
like
tube
the
ride would be
tube.
better. One person in the front, one person in the back, like Yzma and Kronk.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
when they let people go, it's literally like somebody pulls a lever and it opens the door and they go down.
I like that. Yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
I actually
fun.
do like that. Yes, yeah.
But you
So I
almost
think
have
that
to
actually
build a
works
new
better.
water park though,
Why?
Right.
because none of the water parks are themed towards movies. Like they each have their own different identity.
I know, I guess. I mean, I do like the
But still,
idea a
though.
lot, but if they do it, that intro music has to be there.
Wait,
On
you
the
mean
ride.
Perfect World by Tom Jones?
Perfect World, is that? No.
There are despots and dictators, political manipulators.
Yes, that
Oh.
one.
That one?
I think
And
at
then
some
Nick
point though
Miller.
they need to have Kronk's theme song.
Yes.
Where he's going dancing.
But you should.
Oh,
they
yeah.
should play that as you're walking up to the ride.
I like it. Yes.
Okay, so no, I would agree with you. on that one. I like that one.
I do think it would make a really fun water slide.
Yes. Great idea, Chris. Just, twisting it a little bit. I like it.
So, I guess it's my turn now.
Yep.
Oh man, if I had to pick one ride, there's so many rides out there, so many movies. Okay. I'm wrestling between two right now.
You're killing us with the suspense. Building it up.
Dang it. They're both too good. Okay,
Flip
I'll
a
just pick
coin.
one.
Flip a coin.
Okay, so the one of them that I'd want to see, just because I feel like it would actually do better because most people know this movie rather than the other one I was thinking of. I would actually like to see and this could be a ride that's actually in Epcot. They create a new pavilion for
Country.
Country. It would have to be a Hercules ride.
Okay.
Oh, we could do
All right.
Greece. Oh, I would
Give me
love
the
to see a
deep-
Greece pavilion.
So,
Great.
I mean, who doesn't want a good, gyro, right? Wait, is that not how you say it?
Close
Euro.
enough.
Gyro. I'm America.
I actually had Euros tonight for dinner.
Ooh.
I made the homemade tzatziki sauce.
Ooh, nice. So I would say, because there's so many different parts in the movie that I really, really liked. So many different, like, artistically, I mean, like, you could do the whole Hades thing when they're down in Hades. Like, that's really cool. I mean, like, so, but here's the thing I would say. If I was going to pick a ride, I would think it would have to be, and this is kind of a theme of mine, I would see it being like a roller coaster ride.
Okay.
And a roller coaster ride that would have almost like projection mapping, almost to the point of 3D. Because there is actually something called 2.5D, where it's almost 3D, but it doesn't hurt your eyes as much.
Really?
That would be cool.
But so you would have to, in my opinion, it would start from the moment Hades takes Hercules' strength in the Colosseum. You would get on a car, a Pegasus,
Sure.
and you would be flying through different parts of the end, like, action sequence of Hercules. So you'd have the Titans all around you, and you'd be like waving in and out of like different things that the Titans do. You would have, sinking down into Hades. You would go, be going back all the way up to Olympus at the end of the ride. So it'd be very much like action, always moving, nonstop, very quick. And I mean, you'd have, like smells and sounds and like wind blowing at you. It would get cold. It would get very hot.
And the muses singing in the background, telling the story.
Because I think the idea of like being in the middle of a huge fight when you have the Titans there, like that'd be a pretty epic thing to see. So that's kind of where I was thinking Hercules would be an awesome ride.
So would you have like the cue going into the ride, have it like telling the story leading up to that point?
I think so. There would be some things that I would like to do with it. I would like the queue to have like a training. And I would almost see it more like Rise of the Resistance, where there is a definite ride, but a lot of it has to be your experience going through it, because you have to train with Phil. You have to fight these monsters to eventually get to the point where you're strong enough to face the Titans.
So you have like an interactive queue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the way I would see it, because that's the whole point of Hercules when he's a kid and he first meets his father Zeus. He has to prove that he's worthy, so he meets with Phil, and then he has to fight these monsters, and he still isn't quite there to be a true hero yet. So that would be my thing. I think that would be a very cool idea for a ride. Obviously, I don't think it would be very practical in Epcot, because they'd have to make it a huge ride.
But like, I guess, like, how do you then let the guests know like the story about like why you're gonna go defeat the Titans?
Well, that'd be like the very beginning part, because then you could have what the muses were singing in the beginning of there. Because like, so think of it kind of like, I've never been on Rise of the Resistance, so I'm speaking from pure ignorance and some pictures I have seen. But from what I would understand, it's kind of like you walk into like, whether that's Rock and Roller Coaster, whether that's Soarin', whether that's whatever. You walk in somewhere, and then there's a screen, and you have to watch this little thing about what's going to happen.
Okay, so you'd have a pre-show, and then you'd walk through the training course, and then you'd get on the ride?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that'd be a fun way to animate the muses again, and bring them into the ride a little bit. And then you walk out, the doors open, and then I would potentially see it as both an indoor queue and also somewhat of an outdoor queue, depending on what part of the story you're in.
Sure.
And then eventually you walk up into the palace.
With shades and coverings though, right?
Yes. And then eventually...
Unlike Toy Story Land.
There may be some myths going on.
And then eventually you walk up into the Colosseum, where you then sit down, and then like the voice of Hades comes in, and he does this whole spiel, and then he's like, and we'll be, close family, and then at that point, like, the lights turn blue or green or whatever color he turned into, blue, and he takes your powers, and that's when the ride takes off.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to go on that ride. I know, I'm getting pumped just thinking about it. That's awesome.
Right.
I actually love the idea of creating like rides and stuff like that. I think I could actually be a pretty good Imagineer.
Imagineer, Chris, yeah.
You'd have to know how to put it together, though.
Well, there's architects, and then you have engineers to do what the architect wants.
There you go, and then you have visionaries, like
That's
all
true.
of us.
You do need the visionaries.
Yeah, because engineers aren't visionaries. Engineers just know numbers and physics.
Well, that's why you have to be an Imagineer.
So
Combine the two.
this is true. Heads up, what's up? Okay, so Sam, what is your number dos?
All right, so my next one, it would go in Japan, in Epcot.
I know what's going on here.
And I'm thinking
no, I
a
don't.
Big Hero 6 ride.
Yes!
Ride on the back of Big Hero 6 and ride through San Francisco.
I like it. So I'm sort of getting like maybe Soarin' vibes a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking almost like a mixture between Flight of Passage, but if there would be some way we can take that ride vehicle and actually make it move,
Sure.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be epic.
I think you'd have to mix the Soarin' type of seat, but make it very individualistic, like Flight of Passage.
Well, you don't, because you wouldn't sit upright on Big Hero 6. You have to be like leaning over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
on Flight of Passage.
Yeah.
Like on Flight of Passage, it's like a motorcycle almost.
Yeah.
Okay, so my daughter's obsessed with Big Hero 6 right now. Like every single day we watch the cartoon series for hours, which actually is a pretty good series. I like the Big Hero 6 cartoon series. And my daughter's obsessed with the Fall Out Boy song from Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question then, Sam. What would draw people into that ride? Because not a lot of people, I feel like Big Hero 6 is very underrated.
So what would draw people into it? I mean, but then again, other than the fact that you have a whole land dedicated to Avatar, I feel like that's a pretty underrated movie. People only know it because of it was such big
So it's not underrated.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just don't. The movie's really long. Okay.
You didn't like it, but it was the top grossing film ever.
That's why I watch kids' movies.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So you didn't like it, but it was before Endgame the highest grossing film ever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fun. You proved me wrong. I was wrong. Anyway,
Sam, I didn't hear you. Can you say that again? Sam, say that one more time. Once
is enough. It's recorded, so you can just go replay it. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm thinking. Hang on, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think you would have to make it you'd have to hype it up.
Yep.
Be such a fun ride. Because there's plenty of rides that are based off of not the best known movies that we go on all the time.
Yep.
And so just having that, having it be so much of a groundbreaking ride that you have to go on it.
So let me ask this question. Stephanie, you're not part of the show. My wife's decided not to be on the show, but she's voicing her opinions from the couch.
I want to know her opinions, so please bring them in.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, now she's getting off the couch.
Gotta bring the baby.
No, she's got to bring the baby.
I don't think you need to hype it up at all. I think just having another thrill ride at Epcot, it's going to bring itself enough motivation for people to go on. There's Mission Space, which a lot of people can't go on because it makes them sick.
It hurts.
Test Track, which is always breaking down. So to add another thrill, so to have another thrill ride, I don't think you need I think it would reintroduce people to Big Hero 6. I do like that movie a lot. It's good. It's got a nice story. It has just a very different theme from a lot of the other movies, especially the movies that have rides with them already. my 2 cents.
Okay, Mike. Do you want to
No,
say
I
okay.
appreciate your
Go down.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your input because you're right. 'Cause there's really not a lot of thrill rides.
So, okay, so let me ask this question then, Sam. How would you set the ride up? What would it be? From the moment I walk into Japan and it's like, okay, I'm with Sam and Greg and we're all hanging out and you say, we got to go to this ride. We get to Japan. Now what?
Like where would I put it in Japan?
Where would you put it? What would the entrance look like? What's the queue like? What's the ride type like?
I have no
This is
idea
very-
where I would put it. I
very
don't know how much room
specific.
is left in Japan.
Yeah.
They
It
just
just
put
goes
in a new
back.
restaurant in.
It just goes back.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you could put it in the back then, and then for the line, once you get into the line, I would almost have Baymax be almost like Mr. Potato Head in the line for Toy Story Mania, where he's talking and interacting with you, and like he's explaining like what's going on in his little voice, like, and like he's like, and like that's kind of how it introduces you to the ride, where like he's getting his armor, explaining what's going on, and then you go into the ride like you would like Flight of Passage, and then you get on your vehicle and then you fly with Baymax through San Francisco.
So it wouldn't be so much a thrill ride as it would be more of a Soarin' ride just over a fictional city.
I guess you kind of can't have it like Soarin' because Soarin's in Epcot, so you can't just have 2 of the same ride in Epcot. So trying to think, what if you still took that ride vehicle and like made it move through like a
Guess
roller
it's coming
coaster?
back.
Okay.
Have it like a high-speed roller coaster going through.
Yeah, it will, and you can take it from a different approach from the ending of Big Hero 6. So not just where they do become the superheroes. So you could have them fighting monsters because there's a ton of different villains that arrive through the show. So you could take it more of that spin, so you can make it a little bit more intensive and not just flying through San Francisco, which would be cool, but having that, fighting aspect to it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Or maybe almost like
the
this.
both. Like kind of like go over the city in one part and then
Yeah.
like go to defeat villains.
Maybe almost like the Spider-Man ride from Islands of Adventure. Have you been on that one?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from.
So
Yeah.
it has like the different
Long
screens
time.
that come up and like the different scenes interact. And as you're going through it, like your car's moving, it's going up and down a little bit. So you could have the better technology with the ride cards from Flight of Passage, but have more of it just moving to different scenes.
Okay, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I guess because I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been on Spider-Man, and I've never been on Rise of the Resistance. But how do those 2 compare?
It is very similar with the layout, but I mean, just technologically, Rise of the Resistance is.
I was gonna say obviously like
yeah,
the technology is so much better there.
But yeah, it is still very interactive, and from what I remember, yeah, it sort of gives you the same feeling, except now you're dealing with Star Wars, and there's a much better pre-show where you feel like you're definitely in the movies or you're with the Resistance
Okay.
without giving too much away.
Okay. So, Greg, what would your next ride be?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take a different approach instead of something like high octane, fast paced. I'm gonna do a dark ride that is more akin to Small World.
Oh God.
Yeah, but it will have a much better song. It's going to be the bare necessities, and you're just going to be chilling along a lazy river with Mowgli and Baloo.
That's awesome.
Right? Like who loves the Jungle Book? And it's such an underrated movie, and we don't have anything in the parks. I think that'll be a phenomenal, just chill ride. You can go in, beat the heat, listen to some great songs.
So let me ask I got some questions then for you. So why couldn't you do that almost, but overlay that with Jungle Cruise?
No.
No, yeah. I would say that it's got to be separate because, well, Jungle Cruise is an institution. It's classic. I don't really want to see that changed. And with Bare Necessities, I think it would suit itself better for it to be like a dark ride, in my opinion.
I agree. I would like to see that ride in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have the Navi River journey.
But nobody really likes the Navi River journey.
That's a good point. See, everyone in my family is like, oh, let's do the Navi River journey instead of Flight of Passage. I'm like, what? But always,
I'm not downing.
Getting me excited.
Like honestly, I'm not trying to down Imagineering, but I'm like, you took Small World, you took Jungle Cruise, you pretty much took the same thing, plopped it in Pandora. You added this amazing animatronic, so I'm not downgrading that. But I'm like,
I know. For me, it seems like they just put all of their R&D and development and creative juices into Flight of Passage. Like, oh wait, shoot, there's a second ride that we have to create. Let's just do, a Navi version of It's a Small World. But I mean,
honestly, Navi River Journey was not memorable. The only memorable part was my dad and my grandpa almost getting a fight in the line.
Are you sure that was for?
That was for Navi River Journey, yeah.
I do remember that almost fight. Yeah, they were arguing with this lady, and then finally this lady's husband was like, okay, we're done. And then he just walked his wife away.
Oh gosh. What was it about?
They were cutting in line.
Oh, okay. The line cutters.
Whatever. It's done with. So here's the thing.
Okay, but I'm just saying though, obviously the ride wasn't that great if that's the only thing I remember from it.
Sure.
Okay, so Greg, what would you do with the ride? How would you set up the dark ride? But it's not a dark ride because I do not consider Small World a dark ride.
You don't?
No.
Would it be a closer comparison if you compared it to Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, but then again, I don't want it to be too dark because I sort of want them to, us to go through the whole Bare Necessities song in maybe daylight.
Yeah, so I would say that's kind of like a Small World thing. I like it.
So like a Small World and the Grand Fiesta Tour.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So where it's bright, it's fun.
I like it. I like the
little
idea.
boat ride.
I do like the idea a lot. So would that be in India in Animal Kingdom?
Yeah.
Because that's where it's set.
I think that's where I would put it. 100%.
As long as you have the old Colonel Hardy.
Yes,
the elephant.
Colonel Hathi. Yes, the elephant. Yes, I love that. I love
Discipline.
That
Discipline's the thing. I love that elephant. He's so funny and grumpy and old. So it'd be very simple. Would you have? I mean, most dark rides don't really have a very extensive queue. Would you have anything very extensive with that, or would it be very simplistic?
I mean, honestly,
and I mean simplistic, not in a negative way. Just
no, yeah. I think the elegance in that potential ride idea would be its simplicity. It's just it's the bare necessities. It's simple,
So you're just gonna walk through the jungle and then get in your boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not going to be any type of stimulation overload. It'll just for you to get out of the heat, have a different feel for a ride. And yeah, just nice and simple. You walk through a nicely crafted queue, like you said, the jungle. Maybe you can see Bagheera, you can see the wolves as you walk on, maybe little baby Mowgli, and as you get further into the queue, you get to see him grow up. And then finally, when you meet Baloo, is when you can go on that fun ride.
I think that would be a lot of fun because I'm trying to think of the Animal Kingdom, and there's really not a lot of rides for the whole family. There's a lot of shows that are very enjoyable, but there's not a lot of rides.
Not
agreed.
Not the one inside the tree. The amount of kids that end up leaving that ride screaming.
I know. Yeah.
It's tough to be a bug. Oh man.
Well, because
Yeah.
the thing is, like, they put a sign in there and said some of the things can be scary for little children.
Literally all of it.
Dude.
Literally all of it.
I'm not gonna lie though, the bugs crawling under your seat at the end is the worst.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, time to go.
Well, the thing that freaks kids out the most is when all of a sudden, like, they're scared enough as it is, with a lot of the things, but then all of a sudden they look up and they have these gigantic fake black spiders falling from the ceiling.
That was the point that Chris ran out crying.
That's not true. I just had my head down so I could not see up. Funny fact, when I was a kid, my dad still says this, like to this day, like he still remembers this. First time I saw that ride, that show, and the spiders came down, I fell off of the seats and just like was like curled around my dad's leg, like freaking out. I hated it so much. It scared the living crap out of me.
That ride
Oh
is
my
pretty
God.
scary. It's not even a ride, it's a show. That show's pretty scary.
Last time we were
Yeah.
there, after the ride, I heard a dad with his kid like yelling at this not yelling, but very upset with this cast member, like, you have to put better signs, not just one little small sentence under a big paragraph of other things.
In fine print. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. They should probably
Good
tone
point.
down that part. Because the rest of the show is
Yeah.
super enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't mind the rest of the show. But I'm like, that would scare anybody. Gigantic spiders falling on your head.
And then the bees
know.
like stinging you in the back.
Yeah.
I feel like we got
Oh.
distracted. What were we talking about?
Animal
Bare
Kingdom.
necessities.
Bare
Yes,
necessities.
the Bare Necessities ride.
So yeah, I'm on board with it. I'm on board. That's actually one of my daughter's like other favorite like animated movies from back in the day. She loves the Bare Necessities.
Oh, it's a hidden
Like
gem. It's
almost
great.
to the point. Like this is how insane my daughter is. She knows the original song. So like, if we're in the car and we play a Disney playlist and they have the song from the new one, the new animated one, she knows that's not the original singer. She's like, this isn't it. This isn't
Turn it off.
Bare Necessities. Am I wrong, Steph?
No, she literally tells me every time, this is the wrong song, Mom.
Yeah, she knows exactly who is singing. She doesn't know the person, but she can hear the difference. And she's like, no,
That's
this is it.
impressive. That's impressive.
And she was doing that like when she was like 2.5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's insane. So
Crazy.
yeah, I'm on board with that. I like that, right? That's actually one of my favorite movies.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Chris. What is your number 2?
Man, there's so many I want to get to.
So
Okay,
little time.
I have to get to one after I say this one. And we can try to do another run around. But
You
Okay.
can just go twice because
you're done? See, Sam?
I know, I'm sorry. I did my best.
No, thank you. Yeah, thanks for being available.
that
All right,
was,
Chris. Anyway. Yeah, let's
I
go.
would
let's
have
go.
to go with, I'm going to go off of your theme a little bit and do a dark ride.
Okay.
I'm actually going to do The Great Mouse Detective.
Whoa. Basil of Baker Street. Whoa.
Yes.
Deep pull. Deep pull.
I loved that movie when I was little.
That's great. Yes, I love that
So
movie
great.
too.
And so I would have the ride be a very simple dark ride. Like it's literally kind of like Peter Pan. Like they have some basic like things they hang on the bars as like decoration, but it's very, you just walk up, you get on the ride. It's not a long ride, but you start off in Basil's home, you go to the toy factory, you go to Radigan's hideout, you go to the Mouse's Buckingham Palace, you fly in your little, what's that? It was a Zeppelin, essentially. That's what Radigan had. It was
Yeah.
essentially a small Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And then you fly into Big Bend, and then you see all the gears in the clock tower, and then eventually you end back at Basil's home to finish off the ride.
I like it.
So it's very good. It's going to be almost very much like Peter Pan because you're taking a ride simulator, that Zeppelin.
Right. I was about to say it.
But that's the
put in
that's the
there.
famous like thing that they rode in that movie was that little Zeppelin thing.
So where would you put it?
If I had to put it, I would put it in Fantasyland, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is it-
Okay.
Just because it's all based off of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's books, and it's very like it's based in reality, but it's complete fiction and imagination, and like it's so changed our entire world since those books were written that Sherlock is considered the best detective ever, and he's not even real.
Right. Right.
Steph, my wife wants to counter. Go figure.
Batman.
I just think it would be better in Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios.
So
Where in Hollywood?
yeah, where?
Okay, hold on.
where's
Stop.
Hollywood?
Stephanie, come here.
Well, Lily's almost asleep.
I
Okay,
just
hold on,
feel like
wait.
it wouldn't fit into Hollywood Studios right now because it seems like Hollywood Studios is moving towards more of solely being like Disney acquisitions, like Pixar. What else is over there? Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I only thought of Fantasyland just because it's the only other place I could think of going is in the UK Pavilion in Epcot. Kind
I
of
was
like how
gonna
they're
bring
doing
that
the Ratatouille ride in France.
Yep.
Doing that in the UK Pavilion, and then once you're done with that,
Yeah.
you just go to what's it called, and you get a pint, and you're good to go.
The Rose and Crown Pub.
Rose and Crown, that's it.
Ooh, okay, they have the best burger. It's a pub burger. It's amazing.
Really?
So good. Yes.
I haven't had that. Okay.
It's
Anything-
so good.
Anything tastes good when you drink too much, Sam.
I don't drink.
It's
There you
true.
go. Even more reason to just get the burger.
So that's what I would go with. Is the Great Mouse Detective. I think it is very sorely underrated, and I think it could actually make a fun dark ride.
Yeah, I really like that choice. Not gonna lie. I mean, did you guys know that the Great Mouse Detective was a part of the whole? It was supposed to springboard the Disney Renaissance.
I did know that.
It was like that flagship movie before Little Mermaid. Like okay, we're gonna set this into motion. We're gonna get Disney animation back on track, and Great Mouse Detective was supposed to be the first. But a lot of people, say Little Mermaid is because that was one that made the most waves, no pun intended.
So that is kind of what I had for one of my rides was the Great Mouse
like it.
Detective. I loved it. So Sam, you had nothing.
Yeah, and
You did like there's so many other movies out there. Like you couldn't even think one off the top of your head that you would like to see presented in the parks.
Yeah,
all right,
like
give me 1 minute. Okay, why doesn't Greg go and then you can come back and then I'll see if I can think of something.
Okay,
There's not a ton of
no
movies.
pressure,
anywhere.
no pressure or anything. So for me, I'm gonna take a trip to a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago, and it's gonna be a Star Wars ride. Now, I'm mincing my words here just because I have quite the thoughts on what they did with Star Wars Land and what direction they should have gone. But to save on time, I will just let you in on a potential new ride that I love to see. So I recently was watching Return of the Jedi episode 6, and I got this brain blast of, whoa, what if they did like a speeder bike chase through the forest moon of Endor? And it could be similar to Flight of Passage in Pandora, where you're on a speeder bike and you're just riding through, you're facing down these scout troopers, something like that. I mean, it's not really a fully hatched idea, but I think it would be a really cool ride that they could add to Star Wars, because as of right now they only have 2. And honestly, Smuggler's Run, for me, it's sort of like a one and done sort of ride. Rise of Resistance is great, but it's super popular. I think they need a third to sort of spread it out, and I think maybe an original trilogy Star Wars ride would fit very well.
Okay, so I'm gonna take your speeder. I'm gonna raise you a pod racer.
That I was actually juggling if I should talk about the pod racer or these. For me, I love the pod racing scene in episode 1. So I think
I'm gonna
that would
split you
also
guys down the
be a
middle.
very, very well one.
And make this easy. You have 2 separate lines for the queue. One's a pod racer, one's the other one. How do you think about that? So it gives people the option.
It's just so different.
Yeah.
It's just so different. I think they'd have to be separate rides.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
They'd have to be separate.
but pod racing definitely.
Huh?
I would totally be game for that.
I'm
And then you could make your own pod racer, much like Test Track or the Sugar Rush game.
Yeah.
You know, you could create your own. Oh,
So-
sure.
I'm not saying no to it. I'm just a little bit down on Star Wars stuff right now. It's like same thing kind of with like Marvel. It's like I love all of it. I'm like, but there's still so much stuff Disney hasn't done with what they came up with their original stuff.
Okay.
And it's just like, I'm not saying that Bob Iger didn't do a great job with these acquisitions. He clearly did very well with these acquisitions. I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it. Marvel, Star Wars, that's all I hear. It's like, I loved them all, but like, I was very excited when I found out they were doing a Mickey Mouse ride. Like, does anybody get the idea that there has not been a Mickey Mouse ride yet until this?
Never thought of that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. But how do you feel about the animation? Because I'm not a huge fan of the new animation style.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but think about it. Like, the original Mickey Mouse is not this one.
That's true. I mean, that seems like more of the
It's a little bit more-
like the newer style.
It's a little bit more like even
Looks like
so,
a mixture.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
of a, but it's not like the 90s Mickey Mouse that we know, or this
Oh.
80s.
And I think what they did is they based the characters, you know, off of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, off of the Mickey shorts, like the new Mickey
Yeah.
shorts that
Yeah.
they're doing. And then that one, I think, harkens back to like one of the original designs, but they sort of made it more modern. And for me, yeah, initially I didn't really like it, especially Goofy. He just looked like this.
He looks like a hobo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
Batman.
when I actually started watching the shorts, I found them to be so clever, so hilarious, so well done that I liked the design better because I loved the stories that those shorts told. So I'm completely fine with the animation and the type of animation that they chose to go with this new Mickey ride. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the animation as a whole. I'm just saying, like, I'm kind of done with, for a while, with the Star Wars thing and the Marvel thing. It's like,
okay,
can you guys do something with your own stuff that you created? Like, the amount of movies that you guys have come out with, the amount of shorts, the amount of original things that you guys could do. And it's like, I mean, now that people have Disney Plus, it's like Disney has come up with so much stuff that they don't still use. But it's like people go nuts for certain things. Like for instance, like every single year, I think they brought them back like 6 or 7 years ago for the Halloween special, and now they are like a staple now. But that's because they haven't had any representation, and that was the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. Everybody loves them.
Okay, I'll be honest. I have never seen Hocus Pocus.
the first time I saw Hocus Pocus was last Halloween.
I
So
hate you two so much.
I've never seen it. Okay. My mom didn't let us watch it when we were younger, and
same.
I've never really had the opportunity to watch it since then. I mean, maybe this Halloween, since it's on Disney Plus, I'll watch it. So.
Right, exactly. And I sort of feel like, I mean, for me at least, that I sort of missed the window of time when it was like the thing to watch.
Yeah.
Because now everyone sort of talks about it like, oh, it's like cult status, and it's very nostalgic for them, sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas, because I never saw that until a couple months ago, and I couldn't even finish it just because it just really wasn't my
Okay,
cup of tea.
Just stop talking. I hate you so much.
It is a little weird, but I enjoy the music.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the music is pretty good, but yeah, I mean, just going
It is
through it,
amazing. Oh,
Hocus
but
Pocus
either way,
doesn't hold the same.
we were getting on something. What were we talking about?
Going back.
Okay, yeah, that you were done with Star Wars, you were done with Marvel, you hate my idea, and then
No,
you
I don't
talk about
hate your idea. I don't hate. No, I don't hate the idea.
Terrible.
I
no,
just
okay, I'm just
see-
gonna leave now. Bye.
leave this stuff behind you. That I'm more interested in. So here's the
So
thing.
I thought of another ride.
Okay,
Okay.
What if we took Fantasia and we made that a dark ride? And we go through the different
Ooh.
scenes with the music in Fantasia.
question then.
I like
How would that be different than what's the ride the show they just took out? It was is it Mickey's? Oh my gosh.
I don't know, but
It's
I'm
when
getting like
Donald Duck.
Fantasmic vibes.
No, but it's like when Donald Duck took the
Mickey's Go Hot
sorcerer's.
Magic.
Yes,
I love that show.
they took
Me
it out.
too.
The show.
What? Wait, they took
Did
it
they
out?
take
When?
that out?
No, it's
I
still
thought there
there.
were talks of them taking it out.
The last time I went in January, it was there. I mean,
Oh, I thought there were talks about taking
May
that
now.
ride out or something.
Not,
No,
I would.
hopefully
show.
not.
I would be so mad. I love that show.
I boycott. Come on.
But so that's kind of what I feel like we'd be skirting the line of. I would agree with Greg. It's almost like Fantasmic and a little bit of Philharmonic, where it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I guess, but it takes you through like the story, like all the music, like every scene is like a different room, and it's just like a little ride-through vehicle that you sit in and you go through.
So then Sam, let me
actually,
ask you
I
this.
think that would fit better, in my opinion, in the shell of Grauman's Chinese Theater instead of the Runaway Railway. Because for me, I always thought that was misplaced. I think they should have kept Toontown in Magic Kingdom and stuck that ride in there. But I really do like that idea. Maybe just putting it in Grauman.
So I want to know how Sam's going to deal with this one, because this is going to be a fun discussion. So Sam, explain to me then, what are you going to do with all the topless women in Night on Bald Mountain with all the nipples and everything?
That just won't be in there, okay?
Some creative license. So let's just
We
splice
can
it out.
clothe them. We will think of something creative and clothe them.
I was just saying, because there are a few different scenes in Fantasia that are very much not PC by today's standards.
Or just throwing this out there, since the ride can only be so long, some of the scenes just might not cut it.
You're going to get rid of Night on
I like
Bald
it.
Mountain?
Maybe you could just do a close up on Chernobog.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, I'm down with that. I actually did think about a Fantasia.
Okay,
one.
hang on. That just came into my brain. Okay, I did not think about this before.
No, it's good. It's good. Thank you for sharing. I liked it.
She was like, I love this idea. Oh, naked topless women. What do I do? So,
Or at the end of the ride, we could have one of those like old school like peep show things that you like put in the penny.
Oh my gosh. Disney for adults. Here we go.
There you go.
so now you want to create a peep show.
Like that
This
little
took a
like
turn.
really old school thing,
Oh
but
my
like it was just like that. Like you look inside of it. It's not a show. It's like
Oh
a
yeah,
picture,
I know what you're
like a little
talking about.
movie.
Yeah.
And this ride will be presented at the locker rooms of all the swimming teams. Oh gosh, Sam.
You
just as
wanted
bad
to
as
keep it. Hang
you're
on,
just
you
as bad
wanted
as
to
Greg
keep it. I
sometimes.
was trying to.
Gosh, I
Trying to
have
be
to.
accommodating here.
I gotta control Greg's weirdness. Now, don't make me control yours either. Okay, gosh,
You can
peep
try,
show. What the
Greg.
heck is wrong with you guys?
You can try.
Gosh, we gotta invite our friend Tom on here if we're gonna be peeping. Okay.
Like
Okay, getting off of that, and I'm gonna get back to, good, wholesome family talk here.
it. Oh goodness.
My
Okay.
next ride would be another adventure ride. I'm struggling where to put this ride, and maybe you
We can
guys
help
can
you
help.
out.
We can help you. It's okay.
Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna have to create well, no, we can't create a new land. We have to stick with what we got.
That's in the next episode.
I was gonna say that could be
New land.
another episode.
Yes.
What park should we build now?
Fit
Star
Okay,
Wars Park.
so I would say I want to see a Atlantis: The Lost Empire ride,
Yes.
because you got those flying things like that. You go through the city of Atlantis, you're flying over this island, you got a volcano, I think it would be super cool. And then, I don't know, I think it'd be fun. And trying to think of fun ways to make the ride work. My idea.
I prefer the movie Treasure Planet.
Ooh, that's another good one.
That is a good ride. I feel like people like Atlantis more than Treasure Planet.
Not me.
I don't know.
That's why I
See,
didn't say.
for me, I fall into Chris's camp of Atlantis over Treasure Planet, but it's a close one because Treasure
My
Planet
wife is
really
looking
good.
at me like she wants to kill me. She loves Treasure Planet and she likes that one ride, that one song.
From the Goo Goo Dolls?
I'm still here,
Yeah.
right?
Iris.
I love
I'm
that
still
song.
here from what is it, Eddie Van Halen or something?
No, it's like Resnick. Somewhere.
Who is it?
Jim Resnick.
Jim Resnick?
Yeah, I don't know his name, but it's from the Goo Goo Dolls.
It's from the Google Dolls or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he's
Iris
dope.
by the Goo Goo Dolls.
No, Iris is a different song.
I'm still
It
here.
sounds similar.
I'm Still Here is by this. It is the song. Iris is a different song by the Goo Goo Dolls.
I like that song too.
So
Yes.
Oh, it is. It's I'm Still Here by John. I cannot pronounce
Resnick.
that last name.
I think the first Z is silent, so it's Resnick, something like
Okay.
that.
But so that's what I would think. What I would find super fun in the ride, that I think would be a little. And I don't think it would be expensive for Disney to do this. As part of, like they do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Ooh,
Oh, where they take you under?
I like it.
So my one thought is about those hovercrafts that they fly.
Yeah.
They have to use crystals to do it. What I would think would be fun is they give you it's like a sealed package, and each person gets a crystal that's just made out of cheap plastic. And then each person, they take their crystal and they put it into like a little hole in their car, and it lights up the crystal and the car lights up. And then once they leave, they actually get to keep the little crystal.
I
Yeah,
don't
bring
think
it
that would
as a
happen.
souvenir.
Just a little cheap piece of plastic. I don't think it would happen because
I
Disney
like
makes
the
huge-
idea though.
I do like the idea. I mean, think about it. That cheap little piece of plastic going to millions and millions of people. That's gonna add up.
Yeah, but even if they make it at a penny a piece, it's not that expensive.
Or they could just make it like a 3D glasses thing, like please return these crystals in this bin. We'll
Yeah,
recycle
right.
them.
They could do that.
Um,
I mean, people wouldn't return them, but they could.
Right.
my
right,
wife said
yeah.
she's gonna pocket hers.
Which is
Honestly,
why we
I'd
can't
pocket
do
mine
this.
too.
Stephanie,
This-
you are why we cannot have nice things.
That's what
It's like
I was just
spork.
about to say. I think Sam just called you a spork.
No, in Setuli Canteen, they used to have metal sporks, but people kept stealing them. So now you get the regular plastic knives and
Really?
forks.
Oh wow. Got to ruin the fun for everyone. My goodness.
Yeah.
Way to go, Steph. So, Sam, did you have any other rides that you wanted to talk about?
I barely came up with my last one. I think I'm done.
Okay, Greg.
Yeah, I think I'm good for this episode. Yeah. How about you?
I think we are pretty good. I mean, we're sitting at almost 11 o'clock our time. So, I mean, I think we're about 45 minutes. Is there any other rides? Like, we don't even have to get that far into it. Any other movies that you would like to see rides? We don't even have to get into the details of the ride. One that I think would be super fun that hasn't been represented is either Disney's Robin Hood
Okay.
or The Rescuers.
Ooh, I love the Rescuers, but I actually have to head out of here. My daughter woke up, so I gotta go.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, we
goodness.
should all-
Okay. Well,
But
Hey,
it's
but
been
anyways.
fun.
All right, we're gonna head out anyways. All right, guys, it was a fun time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to everything that we do. And this has been My Disney Addiction.
Your one place to get your Disney fix. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.